history. Now, people could be noble, or people can be cruel. They'll make you president, or they'll make you a fool, but she always treated me real nice and kind. Until that day she left me on my own. Swore there was trouble she had to handle back home. But she gave me her number and said, call anytime. If I ever made it cross the Harlan County line. Now the years disappear out on those highways, and I lost her number somewhere along the way. So I'll just say a little prayer that she's doing fine. It's another morning, another motel bed, and another city is waiting up ahead, and I got another small memory to leave behind. Somewhere across the Harlan County line. Across the Harlan County line. Now I want to do something. I wanted to do a show here on the train called Songs I Never Play. And one of these years I will do it. It'll be a bunch of songs that none of you like and none of you have ever heard. But I'd like to do a song from that show. I would like to do the very first song that I wrote, that I actually wrote down. I started writing songs when I was a little kid, sitting in the passenger seat of my mother's 1949 green Studebaker, back before we had baby seats, and my mom would just sit me there and hope for the best. And one of the first things I figured out how to do was work the radio, and that was just, oh my God, And so I was influenced by everything I heard on that radio, from Elvis to the Coasters to whatever, which has nothing to do with any of this, except that I started writing my own songs as a kid. I would turn off the radio and make my mother listen to me just go on for hours and hours and hours and hours singing. I'll give you an example. I wrote a song called, it was kind of based off of, I guess, the Coasters, and it was a song called I Don't Know. And it went like this. Oh, no, I'm not going to sing it. I'm not going to sing it. Never mind. Never mind. No. I just got the, it's okay? Okay. I was doing this for you, you know. It's a song that went, well, I don't know, and you don't care. Well, I don't know, and you don't care. What you mean you don't care? Well, I don't know. Yeah. My poor mother. And then years later, you know, after taking poetry classes and things like that, I was oh, I know that song. I took these very strict poetry classes where we learned how to write sonnets and alexandrines and haikus and the whole lot. And so when the Blasters started, we realized that we needed original material, and so my brother, because we were just doing, you know, Howlin' Wolf songs and Carl Perkins songs, things like that, my brother said, all right, next rehearsal, in 5 days, everybody bring in 3 songs. Nobody brought in any. I brought in 2. Ding, I was a songwriter right then and there. So what I'd like to do is write or sing and play the very first song that I wrote for the Blasters. Again, from the Songs I Never Play show. One, two, three. Well, down at the end of the freeway, just behind some laundromat, there's a real gone little night spot just for real gone cats. It's called the Flat Top Joint. The Flat Top Joint. Now the band starts rocking at midnight. Man, you know you can't stand still. They got barbecue ribs, beer and wine. Sometimes you know you can't sit still down at the... I screwed up the lyrics. They got barbecue ribs, beer and wine. And sometimes you know there ain't no bill down at the Flat Top Joint. The Flat Top Joint. You're gonna get my baby. Man, you know she ain't no square. If you ain't got no honey, bet you're gonna find one there down at the Flat Top Joint. The Flat Top Joint. Oh yeah, you know they got the best jukebox, Gene Vincent and Jerry Lee. They got Lightning Hopkins and Jimmy Reed. And sometimes the machine plays for free down at the Flat Top Joint. The Flat Top Joint. Now folks down there are friendly, but there just might be a fight. A few broken chairs ain't no big deal. Don't worry, it'll be alright down at the Flat Top Joint. The Flat Top Joint. This next song is a request. Sort of a whole different ballgame than the last song. This is a request from Elsa B. And we're sort of getting near to the country of a guy named Everett Roos. And for those of you who don't know who Everett Roos was, B flat, by the way, he was this kid from California back in the late 1920s, and he had what might be considered very, well, not permissive, but broad-minded parents, because he was a gifted child. He was an artist and a painter, a poet, an essayist. He's a goddamn teenager. I could barely figure out how to drive, you know? And he started going away. He'd, you know, go to school and then summer break for 3 months. He'd go live in the High Sierras alone. And this is back in the 1920s. He didn't have any REI stuff, you know. And he would send back to his parents and his family beautiful drawings, watercolors, poems. And then he started venturing out further afield as he got a little older, into Arizona and the California desert, and then up into Nevada and southern Utah, western New Mexico. And he kept saying, you know, one of these days I'm going to disappear. And then after he got out of high school, a couple years later, when he was about, I don't know, 20, 21, he disappeared and was never seen again. Now, he became sort of a legend around the Four Corners region and in parts of Utah and parts of Arizona, northern Arizona. And people have tried over the decades to find him, or to find remains, or find anything. They never found nothing. Now, a few years back, they thought they had found his remains stuffed into a crevasse in the Grand Escalante Badlands area. And they sent him out to get the DNA tested. And they sent it to the second best DNA lab in the United States, which is in Boulder, Colorado. And they came back and said, male Caucasian, early 20s. That was it. The news went out. They had found Everett Roos. And I get a phone call from NPR, from All Things Considered. And they said, you know, they interviewed me about, well, they found Everett Roos. How does this make you feel? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, it makes me feel terrible. And they said, why? And I said, because I lost a song, you know? They found his bones and I'm out of a song. And so the interviewer says, well, maybe you could write a verse about how they found the bones. And I said, I'm a poet, not a journalist. And I was sad for a while, but then the Roos family decided, well, we're gonna send these bones to the best DNA lab in the United States. They sent it to the Naval DNA Lab in Florida. And then the results came in. Male, Navajo, late 60s. And I got my song back. So, so imagine that you're camping out in anywhere out here, and you got your campfire going, it's late at night, and then this kind of figure approaches you out of the darkness. I was born Everett Roos. I've been dead for 60 years. I was just a young boy in my 20s the day I disappeared into the Grand Escalante Badlands near the Utah and Arizona line. And they never found my body, boys, or understood my mind. I grew up in California, and I loved my family and my home. But I ran away to the high Sierras, where I could live free and alone. And folks said he's just another wild kid, he'll grow out of it in time. But they never found my body, boys, or understood my mind. I broke broncos with the cowboys, sang healing songs with the Navajo. I did the snake dance with the Hopi, and I drew pictures everywhere I'd go. And then I swapped all my drawings for provisions, just to get what I needed to get by. And they never found my body, boys, or understood my mind. Well, I hate your crowded cities, full of sad and hopeless mobs. And I hate your grand cathedrals, where you try to trap God. 'Cause I know God is here in the canyons, with the rattlesnakes and the pinyon pines. And they never found my body, boys, or understood my mind. They say I was killed by a drifter, or I froze to death in the snow. Maybe mauled by a wildcat, or I'm living down in Mexico. But my end, it doesn't really matter. All that counts is how you live your whole life. And they never found my body, boys, or understood my mind. 'Cause we give our dreams away as we get older, but I never gave up mine. And they'll never find my body, boys, or understand my mind. Where'd Christy Sue get off to? Come on up, Christy. Everett Roos. What you doing? Nothing. Nothing. Let me get this out of your way. Oh, the train stopped. Well, we'd like to do a song right now that I did not write, but that changed my life. It's a long story. When I write the book, I'll make it as quick as possible. But for our sake right now, I'll just say this song changed my life, and I am forever in debt to the guy that wrote it. Sometimes I wish I wasn't, but I am. And his name is Tom Russell. Now, I'm not saying Tom's grumpy. And I'm not saying that Tom's opinionated. I'm just saying Tom Russell. That's all I'm saying. And, you know, if I would have written this song, and I mean this, if I would have written this song, I would have quit writing songs. I would have said, yeah, I'm done. I've said it all. And like I said, this song, when I heard it around 1988, changed my life forever, and I owe a debt of gratitude to Tom for that. He had a blue wing tattooed on his shoulder. Might have been a bluebird, I don't know. But he'd get stone drunk and talk about Alaska, salmon boats and 45 below. But he got that blue wing in jail in Walla Walla, and his cellmate there was little Willie John. Well, Willie, he was once a great blues singer. So Wingin' Willie wrote him up a song. Said it's dark in here, I can't see the sky. Yeah, but I look at this blue wing and I close my eyes, and I fly away beyond these walls, up above the clouds where the rain don't fall on a poor man's dream. Well, they paroled Blue Wing in August of 1973, and he moved on picking apples to the town of Wenatchee, and the winter finally caught him in a rundown trailer park on the south side of Seattle, where the days grow gray and dark. And he drank and he dreamt a vision when the salmon still ran free, and his father's fathers crossed the wide barren sea, and the land belonged to everyone, and there was old songs yet to sing. But now it's narrowed down to a cheap motel and a tattooed prison wing. Said it's dark in here, I can't see the sky. Yeah, but I look at this blue wing and I close my eyes, and I fly away beyond these walls, up above the clouds where the rain don't fall on a poor man's dream. Drank his way to LA, and that's where he died. And no one knew his Christian name, and there was no one there who cried. But I dreamt there was a service, a preacher in an old pine box, and halfway through the sermon, you know, Blue Wing began to talk. And he said, it's dark in here, can't see the sky. Yeah, but I look at this blue wing and I close my eyes, and I fly away beyond these walls, up above the clouds, where the rain don't fall on a poor man's street, on a poor man's street. On a poor man's street. Tom Russell. Key of B. Yeah, you know, that's... Tom has written a million great songs. But it's hard to follow some, and that's a hard song. If I'd have written it, I would have, like I said, I just would have gone. Maybe I should get into plumbing, or the stock market, or archaeology, anything but writing songs, because I wrote a song, you know, that kind of feeling. Anyway, speaking of writing songs, this is a song that I wrote. Sometimes when I write them, you know, to get a little juice going in my head, I'll imagine other artists doing it. And so when I started writing this one, I kind of thought, this would be a good song for the very secular bluesman, Lightnin' Hopkins, to do with a group like, I don't know, the Soul Stirrers or the Five Blind Boys of Alabama or something like that. Of course, most of the Soul Stirrers and Lightnin' Hopkins were dead when I wrote the song, but still, imagination reigns supreme, right? Well, the night was born. The winter hills are black and I'm all alone, sitting in the back of a long, long white Cadillac. The train whistle cries, lost on its own track. I close my eyes, sitting in the back of a long white Cadillac. Sometimes I blame it all on a woman. Hang on, keep on the one. Now, why my aching heart bleeds.
It's okay. I can handle it. Go down. I want my vocal up just a little bit. I'm overpowered over here. Thank you. Thank you. Just
Sometimes I blame it all on the money. Sometimes I blame it all on me. Now the headlights shine and the highway fades to black. It's my last ride, sitting in the back of a long white Cadillac. very much. Oh, my goodness gracious. Now I ran out of songs I wanted to do. Any requests?
Doe je mij Fourth of July dan?
You can. Are you going to be at the show tomorrow night?
Yeah.
I will do it there.
All right, sure.
We did that earlier on the train, but
No, you didn't. Oh, wait, time, when we did the time.
yeah, but I'll do it again because I really messed it up. I mean, I kind of, not totally completely messed it up, but I dog-meated it a bit. How much time do we got? Because this can get expansive.
Where are we?
What's that? Oh, we're at the end of my rope. Well, we got time for one more here. Let's just see here. Now this is a song that this is Albuquerque, by the way. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's smaller than I expected, but it's awful pretty. That's the library. Next to that is City Hall. There's the room where we're all staying inside behind that door. This is a song I wrote with David Hidalgo and Louis Perez from Los Lobos. And when we wrote it, they had just experienced a very big tragedy in their family. And so they were kind of in shock and over the loss that they had suffered. And I had just lost my father. So I was kind of in shock over the loss of that. And so we decided to get all as Chris Gaffney would say, we decided to get all transcendental and shit. And so we wrote this one. I hear a voice singing somewhere in time, a song I knew long ago. And it takes me back to places somewhere in time. Everyone I used to know. Then I see a face I remember somewhere in time. Someone I loved who's gone away. Gone away somewhere in time. Gone away somewhere in time. It's another night on a highway somewhere in time. And the darkness is playing tricks on me. Far down the road, in the shadows somewhere in time. Am I the man I'm supposed to be? And then I see her light shining somewhere in time. A lonely light light to lead me on, to lead me on somewhere in time, to lead me on somewhere in time. Wake from a dream from somewhere in time, and I rub my eyes so I can see that you're standing there before me somewhere in time. You're waiting for me patiently, and then I'll take your hand someday, somewhere in time, and forever I'll be here with you. I'll be with you somewhere in time. I'll be with you somewhere in time. I'm here with you somewhere in time. All right, we got time for one more, don't we, Dan? Because, thank you very much. This is a song that I wrote that I told, one of the passengers on the train is Ms. Shelley. So I told Ms. Shelley, who has an extensive knowledge of Bakersfield, the Kern River, Lone Pine, and other exotic locales of Central and Southern California. She also has extensive knowledge of the San Gabriel River. Now, I grew up along the banks of the mighty San Gabriel, as did Christy, sort of. Christy being an East San Gabriel River person, and I being a West San Gabriel River person, and that's why East meets East, or West, East, what is it?
Never the twain shall meet.
Never the twain shall meet, yeah. So Shelley, this one's for you, if you're listening. If she's not, rub it in. Oh, there she is. Hello, Shelley. Hello, darling. How are you? So, as Shelley would tell you, the San Gabriel River starts up in the snowpack of the San Gabriel Mountains. And as the snow melts, it drips down through the granite and the pine trees and the Jeffrey pines. And it drifts and drips down into the lower elevation, down into the land of the manzanita and the oak tree. Through the foothills, it gets a little bit apprehensive because it knows what's coming up. It's not the wild river it was for centuries. Wild desert river that would go anywhere it wanted, whenever it wanted. No, it's a tamed western river. And when it gets down to the flatlands, all it wants to do is make its trek to the Pacific Ocean. But man has stood in the way. And that's where we pick up the song. I was born by a river, but it was paved with cement. I was born by a river, but it was paved with cement. But you know, I'd stand in that dry river and dream that I was soaking wet. Someday it's gonna rain, someday it's gonna pour, someday that old dry river, you know it won't be dry anymore.
Well, I played in the orange groves till they pulled us every tree. Well, I played in the orange groves until they pulled us every tree. Now I stand among the dead stones, smell the blossoms of
Someday it's gonna rain, someday it's gonna pour, someday all those dead trees,
no, they won't be dead anymore.
hey Rick. Well, I fell in love with a woman, but she did not fall for me. I fell in love with you, baby. But baby, you never fell for me. Now I'm as dry as that old river, and I'm just as dead as those old trees. Someday it's gonna rain, someday it's gonna pour, someday this old heart of mine is gonna fall in love once more. Someday it's gonna rain, someday it's gonna pour, someday that old dry river, you know it won't be thank you all. We'll see you on the streets of Albuquerque.